interesting. We can now move to an application which is about how also smart cities can help how smart cities can help small businesses. And for that, we have as a presentation by Mr. Vanetti. Massimo, the floor is yours. You have 8 minutes for the presentation. Thank you.
Yes, please help me to keep the time. Okay, Michael, will you show the presentation, please? Okay, does everybody see the presentation here? Yes, I think. Okay, let's start with the first slide. I am here representing European Digital SME Alliance, and with the other hat of SPS, which are sister entities, although very different. I have both hats. Okay, Michael, can you switch to the next slide, please? Okay, thank you. This is just an index of what we will be discussing. What are smart lifts, the scope of a standard that was developed at ETSI, why it is of interest. This is the most important part, and the recipe to get this result, and the timeline. These are the real interesting parts. I am using this project, the design, the development of this standard as an example of a reasonment that helps both standardization and SMEs. I am less interested in the technical details here. So, Michael, can you go on, please? Okay, just to give a glimpse into what is a smart lift, because everybody uses lifts, but sometimes people doesn't realize that there is a whole plethora of people, businesses, and entities entitled and interested at various types to manage and get that information. The next slide, please. Okay, who are interested in this business? There are people of the trade, that is a few big companies, and we all mostly know their names, and a surprisingly large number of SMEs. They operate mainly in maintenance, but also in areas such as design and construction, and the manufacturing of control systems and telemetry devices. Now we call, with a modern word, edge, this positioning. But there are many users. There are the building managers and even managers on a larger scale, from the block up to the smart cities. We are the users, and also users with special needs. There are impaired people, firefighters that are in need to relate to the information provided by smart lifts in case of an emergency intervention, but also as controllers of the correctness of all the installation, and so on. There are other in between cases. Please, Michael, can go on. Okay. We at ETSI developed, I say we because I also was a part, had a part of, although small, into this development, which deals with smart lifts, IoT devices at the edge, the integration of administrative data management and alarm management systems in order to give the people a full vision on each lift without the need of jumping from one service to another one. There is the scalable cloud services, which is based on 1M2M, according to the specification. The integration, the ability of integrating non-standard solutions and platform and adding novel features and capabilities by being capable of accepting new types of sensor. As an example, we can mention the addition of earthquake detectors and so on. And to pave the way for predictive maintenance, of course, which is the desire of every maintenance crew. Please, can you switch on? Okay, but why is this important or even interesting? As I told you, I am not going to explain the technical details, which we can do, but cannot be said in 8 minutes. But the important thing I want to highlight is this development can show, first, that useful standards under proper circumstances, and this must be stressed, can be developed quickly. I know that this is an objective of many of us, also of the EU community. This is particularly true in the case of IoT, as we shall see in the next few slides. And that SMEs can take the lead in developing modern standards, and big companies can even appreciate and follow. There is a recipe for obtaining these results. Of course, this recipe calls for the right ingredients, and we are going to disclose some of them right now. Yes. What we need is people that know well the requirement of their vertical business sector, the practices that are in use, the technical aspects of their trade, and it is not strictly necessary that they are big experts in other areas, like, for instance, data communication or IoT, because this knowledge is more horizontal and can be contributed. I mean, there are experts on communications and IoT, both at ETSI and in other places, that can contribute their knowledge to design of standards, but they lack the specific knowledge which is related to each vertical domain. Then we must have a standardization context that is open to rapid development. This is absolutely needed to drive the process to success. And then we must have something that can be leveraged so that the team can focus on the specific aspects of the vertical business under consideration. And while at all the time, having the confidence that the standard that is being developed will be able to follow the evolution of technology without having each time to rewrite this standard according to this evolution. Please, Michael, can go on. In our case, in the case at hand, which is the standards which was developed for smart lift, how those key ingredients were incarnated. There are experts from EFESME, which is the European Federation for Elevator Smart Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise, which is the associations that scatters at the European level, all the sub-associations at the national levels, and other people that work as SMEs on smart lifts, on lifts actually, be they smart or not. Then we have ETSI TC Smart End-to-End, which is the TC at which this development, this standard was developed, and where historically most the IoT standardization has been done in ETSI. We have and this is the context, we have the leverage, which is 1M2M, and a pinch of luck. Yes, this happened at SBS, and I was a little bit instrumental for this, because there was people from EFESME complaining that the standardization of telemetry for smart lift was too slow, and they were in absolutely need of a standard for this in order to be able to stay at a level with big companies. So I put them together. This is the actual timeline, and this can be, I leave this for you to look. The only things I want to point out is this timeline is short, and that in Q1 2021, the large companies in this business began to notice this and said, oh, you are doing good progress, but we are not a part of this. Can we join? And yes, we said, you can join. So both ELA, which is the association, European association that caters to large manufacturers of lifts, and some of those large manufacturers joined ETSI and this committee and helped develop the standard. Next slide, please. Those two slides are just as a homage to Enrico, which has already shown them, this one and this one as well. Next slide again. Okay, this is just a few words on what is going on now. Now, based on that standard, there is a proof of concept project that is being developed with the participation of those entities, which is 3E, which is a consortium of 20 SMEs in Italy that manage more or less 40,000 elevators that contributes the data of a few of them. BitLive solution, which helps in gluing the software. WeLift, which is a provider of edge solutions for the smart lift context. We could end the presentation here. This is just another homage to Enrico. That's it. The last slide shows that, okay, that's not it, that's not important. There should be the contacts for the entities if you like to get in touch with them.
Thank you so much, Massimo. Very interesting to see how also standards help in creating ecosystems, opening up possibilities for small and medium-sized companies to get into the market and provide solutions which help also the consumers ultimately.